Hello, I'm Adam Canning, and believe it or not, I'm not sat down for high tea. And these aren't real cakes, these are actually made out of flowers. Because I'm here for BBC Gardeners World Live 2016, and I'm going to be focusing on the wildlife aspect of the show.
I started on the parks department when I was 16 years old, but literally before that, Nan and Grandad. So I had my grandparents. I had Scruffy Nan and Tidy Nan. Scruffy Nan literally had Heligan outside her back door, so she used to hoard everything. And I can remember she used to collect Belfast sinks. And as a 7-8-year-old, these Belfast sinks were like worlds. I could pull newts out of them and all sorts. And then we had Tidy Nan, who literally would tie up her brambles. She was that controlling. So
I heard you mention earlier that gardening to you is about the people, the garden and plants, but how about the wildlife?
No, that's a part. To me, that's a massive part of it. So I do an awful lot of work with young people, which a lot of people know about. So I do that, but that's about actually how we live with wildlife. Making kids garden, getting kids to garden, getting teenagers to garden, very much makes them aware of a wider thing called the planet. My missus is quite a tidy gardener, which if we have a debate about the garden, I leave it quite untidy. But actually, I'm saying that actually I'm leaving accommodation is actually what I'm leaving. So I think it's not only is it what you create, it's the way that you garden. I think if we always leave a little bit, even for the worms, if we rake all the leaves up, what are the worms going to do in the winter?
It's their food, yes.
It's their food, and it is what they take down, and that improves our soil and goes back. It's just understanding it, isn't it? And I think, it upsets me a little bit when you start to sort of hear that so many of our wildflower meadows are being changed and destroyed, but we're losing. So even when people are putting them back, they're not looking regionally. So they're not taking inspiration from their local landscape, which means that we're losing regional wildlife, because the seed companies are selling general packs of seed. They're getting sown all over the place, so everything's starting to be quite generic rather than actually individual and regional. I think that's an important thing to do, is make sure that you know, if you're creating something wildflower based, you do it from your local environment. So
you have a new house, you have a new garden.
Yeah.
Now, so do you have any wildlife visiting, and if so, what's your favourite visitors?
It's blown me away, because obviously we've now got a bigger space, and it's an old garden. So, but what's really blown me away is the first morning when we woke up and we sat there, and I put my missus up a cup of coffee, sat in bed, and we got no curtains, so actually it's really nice. Looked out, there's a song thrush.
Oh really? Fantastic.
Song thrush on the front lawn, and it's came back every single day since, and I'm jumping up and down.
So I'm here with Owen Morgan for Health for Life Community Garden, because he won Gold Best Show Garden.
Our main focus in this garden was that we wanted to maximise the benefit to the kind of edibility of this garden, as well as actually improving biodiversity. Because of the limited space, we actually opted to use a wildflower green roof solution for the building, which has been designed to survive the kind of harsh conditions of being on a roof, which actually is a brilliant site for wildflowers. It's actually, you know, it's dry and it's quite harsh, and it actually is an environment that these wildflowers thrive in. So we're really using that as a kind of nectar bar and a habitat for pollinators that are then beneficial to the actual edible parts of the garden. There's an opportunity for everyone to do it. It's not limited to, you know, large spaces or rural gardens. I think actually anyone within a small garden, within a roof terrace, within a balcony on a flat, can provide some habitat. As I say, if that's just as simple as having a little bug hotel, providing a water resource, you know, if it's composting, or just having a little area of the garden that's wild, that you don't overly manage, you just allow it to be a place that wildlife can exist in. I think that's the emphasis, is actually just to feel free to do it, and actually feel that you don't have to have a particular type of garden. We can all do something within any given space.
So you've clearly shown that you're wildlife minded, so what would you say is your favourite wild animal then?
I've got a lot. I think it's probably got to be hedgehogs. It's got to be. I've always loved hedgehogs since I used to rescue them from crossing the road near me. There was a busy road near where I lived in London when I was a child, and we used to get them off of the road. Ever since I remember, I've always had an affinity with them.
Here we have some Cotswold beauty. This is a variety of verbascum, and now it's another good plant for bees. Now we'll just move over to the salvia. Now this is another good little plant. Now just look at these little wee flowers. I just love the shape, and bees love it too.